Well, this is my first video that isn't a gaming video, so please excuse my poor editing skills. Hi, today I'm going to rank every single Tornado Alley Ultimate game mode from S to F, S being the best and F being the worst. Please remember that this is my opinion, so if you disagree, that's fine, you're entitled to your opinion, you're just incorrect. Let us begin! I think normal survival is a respectable game mode. If this is your favourite, then I won't complain. There's nothing bad about it. It's easy, it rewards a low amount, it's everything I could wish for in terms of having a middle-of-the-road game mode. It's what every game mode bases itself off. I'll give it a C tier. Double Trouble is pretty much the same story, except you survive 2 tornadoes instead. God, what a hardship. What I like about Double Trouble and every multi-tornado game mode that follows is that the tornadoes can all be different rankings. One could be an EF0 and the other could be a massive EF5. It's what makes Double Trouble more diverse than normal survival, but I don't think it does enough to impress, so I'll give it a C tier too. Still respectable. Triple Threat is where it gets slightly more chaotic than the 2 before it. If you couldn't guess, you survived 3 tornadoes in 1 round. It's definitely not the hardest game mode out there. I'll keep banging on about how the game modes aren't too diverse, but Triple Threat does enough for me to satisfy a B tier. It's a good game mode that deserves its praise, but there are much better ones out there. Like the 3 before it, Nado is a bit more hectic than the previous ones. I promise we'll move on to the better game modes later on. What I like about Nado, Penta-Nado, and Six-Nado is that you could somehow get them to be easier than normal survival by just sheer luck. You could have all 4 tornadoes in Nado beat EF0, and get a system overload on normal survival with 3 retro your dooms. Ain't that a sight? I'll give Nado a B tier like Triple Threat. It doesn't differ much from Triple Threat, but it's still worth the praise. Oh boy, Penta-Nado is where it gets real. 5 tornadoes at once is already chaotic enough, but like mentioned before, factor in the enchanted Fujita scale and you have a bigger problem. I did the math, and it turns out to be a 1 in 3,125 chance to get all tornadoes in Penta-Nado as an EF5. If you haven't already noticed, the way I'm ranking these game modes is through how many tornadoes there are. This is unintentional, I just like the chaos. Too much chaos is bad though. Penta-Nado is worthy of a B tier because it's more intense than Nado, but there is always the chance of 5 EF5 showing up. Luckily, the game mode is quite rare. I'm not going to talk about Six-Nado yet because it's a private server game mode. They will have their own category after I rank all the public server game modes at the end of the video. Zeus is just kind of boring. It has no real reason to exist, other than to add a bit more intensity to the game. Zeus is just one EF0 to 5 tornado with added amounts of lightning. Why? Lightning mostly only strikes metal objects such as the radio tower in airport, and also corners. Why corners? Because people camp there, so Billy made lightning rigged. There's no point to this game mode existing then! You already have enough lightning, and all the ways of cheesing a tornado are solved by either corner lightning or just Lurker. Zeus is mid, nothing special to it. C tier. Rainwrapped is alright. I do enjoy Rainwrapped a lot. In the game mode, you have to survive 1 EF0 to 5 tornado in extreme fog conditions. Why is this clever? Because Rainwrapped is actually a term to describe a tornado in rainstorms, where you can't really see it. Additionally, Rainwrapped adds to the tension and suspense of where the tornado could be, especially if it's an EF5, because they have insta-kill potential. Overall, I like Rainwrapped. Pretty fun. B tier. Why? Low gravity makes no sense. Somehow the magnetic field's shifted. For what? What reason? It isn't described at all. We just get breaking news about a gravitational change sweeping the world, and then suddenly a tornado's forming! Ah! It becomes too hectic for the new players, especially because most people do not pay attention to the objective. Why is that bad? The objective specifically says, refrain from using your gravity coils, they'll send you to your demise, and people are ignorant. This means that 90% of the deaths in low gravity come from being sent into space, and not even having to deal with the tornado. Also, you can just cheese this game mode specifically by just equipping and unequipping your coil in the sky to float endlessly, meaning you basically get a free survival. This is a D tier game mode, not very enjoyable. Skirmish is a game mode which I feel indifferent about. There are quite a few positives, but also a lot of negatives I have to talk about. If you are unaware of what Skirmish is, basically, it's normal survival but you can kill other players with weapons around the map. I like this feature, it spices up the game. Additionally, I have to talk about the music. It's really good, it fits Skirmish perfectly. Okay, shut up, now let's talk about the negatives. First of all, the red tint when the tornado is about to touch down. Why is that? If it's supposed to connotate blood and violence, then it's doing a poor job, because it just hinders your vision of other players and specifically the tornado, especially if it's an EF5, because it will kill you instantly. Next, I'd like to mention the loot spawns. Having shelter keys to spawn in Skirmish is cool. I'll talk about the shelter later. The bad part about the loots is that you cannot get blood rune fragments or mysterious sunglasses in Skirmish. The only loot items are axe, sword, illumina, and shelter key. This game mode just becomes a snooze fest if you're hunting for frags or sunglasses. Last, you can attack in the shelter. No! This is bad! Wanna know why? There are cameras in the shelter! So if you're on the cameras with no weapon and only a shelter key, and someone else comes in, fully decked out, you never know if you can trust them or not to kill you while you're spectating. It's genuine bullshit, and I hate it! Therefore, my final ranking for Skirmish is a D tier. Post-editing bean guy here. Apparently, I never knew this, but one of the modifiers that you can access in the admin panel is PvP mode, which makes every game mode Skirmish. No! Damn, I love Unstoppable. There are so many things I can touch on in Unstoppable that are positive, but there are also some negatives I have to mention. Firstly, I love the music. Billy, as the god he is, picked Queen of Opposites for Unstoppable. I couldn't think of a better choice for music of this game mode. Take a listen. Shut up. Additionally, I love the audio choice for Unstoppable. Not the music, the audio choice. It sounds extremely eerie and scary. This is also beneficial for another game mode we'll get to later on. Finally, what strikes me the most about Unstoppable is its sheer power. Watching Sunset Mall get devoured within 5 seconds of Unstoppable existing is just extremely satisfying. Oh, and also Unstoppable was apparently based off the El Reno tornado. That's insanely cool. However, there are some downsides, specifically its sheer power. I know I just said I love it, but that also comes with the bad, being that you cannot easily survive Unstoppable dragging you in. This means Unstoppable becomes a pure RNG fest to see if it goes near enough to you that you'll die or you'll be spared. The worst part is, it one-hits you! Take notes, Lurker, this is how you make a powerful tornado. None of this EF4 bullshit. Unstoppable is a B tier game mode. Timebomb Terror is a bit of a confusing case. What's interesting about this game mode is how it's been rebalanced over the course of the many updates of Tornado Alley Ultimate. However, before we get to that, I should probably mention what Timebomb Terror actually is for those who don't play the game. Timebomb Terror is a guaranteed EF3 tornado that launches out time bombs. The time bombs have a ticking duration of 2 seconds before exploding. The explosions from bombs insta-kill players. This encourages players to get away from bombs as quickly as they can. Now, let's talk about the balances that Timebomb Terror has had over the course of its updates. For example, in the Art of Balance 3 update, Timebomb Terror's explosion radius was increased, then it got decreased again not so long later. It's a bit of a shaky road for this game mode, but it made it out of there in the end. Timebomb Terror doesn't do enough to satisfy a B tier though, so I'll give it a C. Still respectable if this one is your favourite game mode. No. I'm not talking about Dust Devil. Someone else can do it. Hey Twilight, you'll do it, right? Okay, good. I'm leaving my room.
So. Slippery wanted me to talk about Dust Devil. Here are some things I have to say. You should die! You should suffer in the depths of hell and be bashed with a hammer bigger than your mother's butt cheeks. If I had a drop of blood removed from me for every time I saw your face and cringe, I'd be dead. You can take your dirty, dusty, crusty, musty, lumpy, bumpy, slumpy, clunky, bumblebee, parking fee, cockroach pee, 7 C's, windy face into my butt cheeks and out through my nose while I die of your stench. I wish I could reduce you to atoms and farm you for XP. You are the butthole and I am the toilet paper. No matter how much you wipe, you will never be able to get out all the crap. So.
Hey guys, I'm back.
Is that Slippery?
Did Twilight do it? Did he talk about Dust Devil and put it in F tier? If you didn't put it in F tier, I'm gonna stab him. Oh, we put it in F tier? Okay, good. Alright, let's talk about the next game mode. MegaTornado is a great game mode. I absolutely love this game mode. It's so simplistic, yet so awesome. From just the game mode icon, we can determine that MegaTornado is a faster moving tornado than the ones we've seen prior. It even tells you that underneath the main text. Additionally, the Sun King is a very good song choice for MegaTornado. It fits the mood perfectly. Take a listen. Wait, no, sorry. I will get copyrighted. Like I just said 30 seconds ago, MegaTornado is so simple. Having a tornado with faster speed that you cannot outrun is intimidating, but not so much that it will insta-kill you as soon as it rams its face into you. MegaTornado is an A tier game mode, the first A tier of the video. Infernado is just kind of a filler game mode. It's pretty much in the same boat as Zeus, but I like it. Infernado is a fiery tornado that sets objects on fire when it touches them. This fire can damage players if they get too close, and can be put out using a fire extinguisher. The music suits Infernado quite well too. It's sort of a looming death scenario, where you either die through the tornado winds or by bursting into flames from whatever source it may be. Infernado definitely isn't the best, but it's good enough for me to land it a spot in the C tier. Okay, let me be clear. I am going to be biased towards Freeze-Nado because I love the ice elemental power. This tornado incorporates not only the freezing mechanic, where objects near the tornado can turn into ice, but also has one of the best music choices. Billy is just too good at picking out music for game modes. If you are unaware, Freeze-Nado's whole gimmick is that it has winter weather abilities that it will use periodically. There are 4 that can be used. Ice Spikes will summon a large swarm of spikes from underneath the ground that will deal damage to players if they touch the spike. Avalanche will summon a large heap of snowballs from the sky that fall down and deal damage to players if they touch the snowball. They continuously shrink in size until they disappear. Cold Burst will create a very cold aura around Freeze-Nado, which turns all nearby structures into pure blue ice. This ability lasts for about 15 to 20 seconds. Blizzard will summon a blizzard that temporarily hinders players' vision, making it much harder to survive Freeze-Nado. I love the fact that it can use abilities and isn't just some plain ice tornado that freezes things. All of these reasons result in Freeze-Nado landing a spot in the A tier, next to MegaTornado. Bombs Away is one of the greatest game modes out there. I can't be biased because it's one of Billy's favourite game modes though. Bombs Away does have its downsides, but let's talk about the good parts first. Bombs Away's main gimmick is that an EF3 tornado touches down at the same time that the area is being attacked by military airstrikes. I love this mechanic because they could have done a lot different with Bombs Away, but they stuck with something simple and awesome. There are 4 different types of missiles in Bombs Away: Yellow Lightning, Blue Burst, Normal, and the Moab. Yellow Lightning is a small missile that attacks quickly and has a small explosion radius. Blue Burst is an average, a medium attack speed and medium explosion radius. Normal takes a lot longer to attack, but has a much bigger explosion radius. Moab is the slowest missile to attack, but covers about 1/3 of the map in its explosion radius. I love that there are a lot of different bomb types. This makes the game mode a whole lot more interesting, just like Freeze-Nado. However, there are some downsides to this one. The coin reward is 500 coins. Why? Bombs Away is not that hard to survive. Decreasing it to 375 or swapping its coin reward with NoobNado could work. My eyes really hurt after a Moab drops in. When a Moab spawns, everyone's screen will go brighter. It hurts. Why is the tornado orange? Is this tornado the colour of Donald Trump's hair or something? Bombs Away is not bad because of these negatives. It lands itself in the B tier. It's a great game mode. Go, 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 go. Run away from the Sharknado. Oh, wait, wrong thing. Sorry. Chompnado is what I imagined before I watched Sharknado for the first time. If you couldn't guess by what I said earlier, Chompnado is a tornado that launches sharks. If these sharks touch you, they latch onto your head for a little while and deal 50 damage. You can get an upgrade to quote-unquote tame the sharks so that they won't latch onto your head if they touch you. What I like about Chompnado is that the sharks fling out at random velocities. You can get some goofy screenshots of the sharks mid-air, spinning around helplessly until they hit the map border and fall to the floor. I've been trick-shotted by Chompnado before. I've had several sharks jump shot onto my head and kill me. It wasn't fun, but Chompnado it is. B tier. Retro-Nado is the embodiment of 2006. I absolutely love this game mode, more so than Freeze-Nado and MegaTornado. The game mode is so simplistic too. It's a singular EF0 to EF5 tornado, except it's a mesh and not a beam. This design change for the tornado makes me feel a lot of nostalgia. I am so glad this game mode got added to TAU, and I cannot be more thankful. Additionally, whilst not a part of Retro-Nado, there is literally a modifier which makes every game mode retrofied called Mesh Tornadoes. My dreams have come true. This is an S tier game mode. Fight me, I don't care. Deadnado is the tornado version of the zombie invasion bonus disaster. It's always an EF3 tornado and has the most kick-ass music I've ever heard. Sadly, the music was swapped out from an OST to Lemon Cake music. I'm not sure if I prefer the current music or the old music. At least we got a sick remix of the old music in the zombie invasion bonus disaster. Deadnado is a green EF3 tornado that summons zombies periodically. There are only 3 types of zombies: the Roamer, the Mammoth, and Ember zombies. Why only 3? There's so many other types of zombies you could have added that are from zombie invasion. If anything, add the hazmat or little zombies to make the game mode a bit more difficult. Right now, the only difficult part about Deadnado is when it drags you in and spawns a bunch of zombies on top of you. Even then, you have literally no escape. My ideas include adding more zombie types, and perhaps having the zombies fling out of the tornado the same way that the Chompnado sharks and Timebomb Terror bombs launch out. Deadnado isn't bad because of these flaws, it's just kind of boring overall. C tier game mode, still respectable. Trollnado is a game mode which I feel indifferent about, just like Skirmish. Like Skirmish, Trollnado replaces the loot items. The only 3 items that can spawn in the Trollnado game mode are Rubber Ducky, Evil Ducky, and Shelter Keys. This is fine, but just like Skirmish, you can't get Blood Moon Fragments or Mysterious Sunglasses. This game mode is mild for all the same reasons as Skirmish, at least in terms of the loot. Now let's talk about Trollnado itself. Before you even get into the map, Trollnado has one trick up its sleeve, disguising as another game mode. I made an example of this in the transition just a few seconds prior, where it disguises Hoshinado. This is so clever, but I also hate it a lot. Luckily, sometimes Trollnado will disguise as a game mode which is easily distinguishable from the actual game mode. It could disguise as Doomsday without having the Eeries playing in the background, or it could even disguise as itself if you're lucky enough. When Trollnado appears, it can do many things to players. It can fling them into the skies, it can snatch players and bring them to it. If you're lucky, it'll give you a random item, but if you're unlucky, Trollnado will straight up blow you up. When it gives a random item, it could be literally anything. This means you could be given a cursed idol during Trollnado. That's just a bit weird, right? Overall, Trollnado is pretty fun. However, the loot spawns make it rather annoying to get. C tier game mode, still respectable. Lurker is one of a few game modes which strays away from using an EF3 tornado. All previous game modes mentioned, aside from these idiots on the screen, are guaranteed to be EF3. Lurker breaks this chain, and instead, Lurker is an EF4 tornado. This means it deals more damage overall than the other game modes. Now let's talk about the thing that makes Lurker different to the other tornadoes. It targets players specifically. Lurker will randomly pick a player and just randomly speed off to their location. You can avoid Lurker by being far away from it, but that doesn't mean other players won't. You need to have a coordinated team of players to get everyone to survive. You know how I just said randomly pick a player? Yeah, I'm not kidding. You could get picked by Lurker 3 times in a row and there's no escaping. Once you get dragged in, you're done for. Lurker has insta-kill potential because it's an EF4, so that's good. All of these flaws certainly are bad, but I'd like to mention some positives. The design of Lurker is genuinely so cool! It looks so ominous. Watching this red beam of souls just chasing after players is extremely spooky, especially if you're the one being targeted. Speaking of which, there's a little indicator that tells you if you're being targeted. If you're being targeted by Lurker, your screen will flash red with scary text and static images on the screen. It would also have some additional music playing, overlapping the current music, which I must say is sick as hell. Acton Lurk is probably one of the best choices for Lurker. It suits the mood perfectly, seeing as you know there's something coming after you and it's just so intense. I know I said a lot positive about Lurker, but please do factor in the negatives I mentioned before. This all results in Lurker being a C tier game mode. It's not bad, I just wish it gave you some more time to relax before it comes after you again. GhostNado is one of the Spookfest created game modes in Tornado Alley Ultimate. Spookfest is an event which occurs around every Halloween, and it introduces some changes to suit the scary season. GhostNado is an EF5 tornado which moves abnormally fast, about the speed of MegaTornado. GhostNado has a chance every so often to turn into a ghost orb, which makes the tornado move even quicker. The orb only lasts for a short amount of time, and additionally, GhostNado has a face. Sure. The music that accompanies GhostNado is an OST called Groove to the Nightmare. It's probably one of the best songs that Billy has made. Finally, GhostNado has a sub-game mode called Supercharged GhostNado, but we won't be talking about that and it won't count to the ranking. Speaking of which, GhostNado is an A tier. I don't think there's any contending. It's really fun to experience. GhostNado is probably the best Spookfest game mode. That, or on par with GhostNado. It is an EF5 tornado, again, with a face, that has an OST for music called Graveyard Jam. GhostNado has one primary ability, and a second ability which kinda makes no sense. The secondary ability is GhostNado being able to summon purple bombs away missiles. They are always equivalent to the red missile. Why? Being Halloween style gives GhostNado no reason to use literal missiles as an attack, but it does add to the chaos, I guess. GhostNado's primary ability is to curse players. A little GUI will appear on the screen for everyone that tells people someone's been cursed. When this happens, a random effect is applied to the person who's been cursed. The following curses include being straight up exploded, being set on fire, being caged like a bird for the rest of the round, being shrunk, being grown, losing all of your items, and being unable to jump for the rest of the round. That's a lot of curses. It really is just an RNG fest. You can't do anything against GhostNado to stop it from killing you. I guess that kinda sucks, but it doesn't always mean you'll die when being cursed. GhostNado is an A tier game mode next to GhostNado. They are both extremely great. Any objections? No? Didn't think so.
Rift. It's the best game mode. No.
What the fuck, Twy? Are you on shrooms or something? Riftnado is a guaranteed EF3 purple tornado which summons portals out of the sky. These portals will drop infected objects, apparently from all around the world, which glow a neon pink. If these objects touch other things, those touched things will get infected too, bouncing uncontrollably to spread the infection. Touching infected parts, including the objects dropped from the portals, will deal 50 damage to you, which is half of your health. Additionally, Into the Fire, the music for Riftnado, is a great choice. I have nothing else to say. Riftnado is definitely not an S tier game mode. I know Twy will kill me and all, but Riftnado is a B tier game mode. It's better than normal survival, having an interesting gimmick, and a die-hard fan seated 2 miles away from me. Okay, don't worry, we're not doing the TrollNado thing again. Let's actually talk about Hoshinado. Haha, I tricked you, Twy. LMAO, absolute bozo. Hoshinado is one of the coolest game modes. While it is rare, it is deserving to be. It's difficult. Hoshinado is a guaranteed EF3 tornado, which actually looks so pretty! It is also accompanied by many falling stars from the sky, which explode on impact with the ground. There are many different types of stars which attack during the game mode. Since I'm too lazy to write out an entire script for each star, I'm just ripping it from the fan wiki. Thanks, fandom! Black star will disintegrate parts. Players that are hit by this star will deal major damage. Blue star will turn surrounding objects into ice. Players that are hit by this star will be dealt moderate damage. Green star will grow a tree. Players that are hit by this star will be dealt considerate damage. Purple star will turn parts purple. What do you think? Players that are hit by this star will be dealt major damage. Red star will set surrounding objects ablaze. Players that are hit by this star will be dealt moderate damage. Players who touch or are hit by parts that are set by fire will be dealt considerate damage in a consistent interval. White star will turn parts white and anti-gravity them. Players that are hit by this star will be dealt moderate damage. Yellow star will emit lightning in a continuous interval. Players that are hit by this star will be dealt moderate damage. Players that are hit by the lightning will be dealt major damage. This, accompanied with the music, makes this an S tier game mode. right up there with Retro-Nado. Both of them are legendary.
Fire my laser!
ToastNado. Man, they just keep getting weirder, don't they? I'm not even sure why ToastNado was added, but it is a fun game mode and a worthy addition. Once I realized how silly and chaotic this game mode was, I instantly knew I loved it. ToastNado is a guaranteed EF3 toast-style tornado, which acts like a normal tornado, except, there's flying toasts and they can shoot you through lasers and also they can eat you, because yeah. ToastNado is a very interesting game mode. According to the weather forecast, a mad scientist was arresting after experimenting with some toast. Sure, I guess. ToastNado is one of the stupidest game modes, in a good way. However, there is one downside. The music is a bit off. Like, seriously, what is with the music? Psycho Clown is just not fitting at all for ToastNado. It's in the same horror genre as Act and Lurk, the same music for Lurker. I'm not saying it's the worst choice, it's just a little bit strange. ToastNado is not bad because of the music, not at all. This is an A-tier game mode. Congrats, Toast! Should I go make some toast? I'm kinda hungry after writing this script, you know. I'll be fine. Let's go on to the next game mode, shall we? Alright. One of the two most recent additions to Tornado Alley Ultimate, NoobNado. A game mode conceptualized back in the days of Tornado Alley 2. This tornado is a manifestation of a noob, having approached our area from 2012, specifically from Crossroads. It carries deadly weapons which it utilizes to cause havoc upon the players. Additionally, NoobNado is always an EF3 tornado and its music! Oh my god, the music is so good! Every time NoobNado equips a tool, it has a chance to enable Super Noob Mode, which buffs the weapon to a major degree. Looking at you, Rocket Launcher. I'll now list out every weapon NoobNado can use. Rocket Launcher will fire out one singular rocket at a random player. When Super Noob Mode is enabled, NoobNado fires about 25 rockets at players. Each rocket deals 50 damage in a large radius. Paintball Gun will fire about 5 to 15 paintballs at random players. Super Noob Mode for this weapon is broken. RIP. Trowel will summon a lava wall in front of NoobNado that will act like the Riftnado infected objects. Super Noob Mode for this weapon is also broken. Time Bomb will summon a bomb at the center of the tornado. It has a short ticking duration before exploding, insta-killing players. Super Noob Mode for this weapon makes the bomb much bigger, allowing it to cover a bigger blast radius. Everyone's favourite Speed Coil will make NoobNado go faster temporarily. Super Noob Mode with the Speed Coil enabled makes NoobNado go at GigaNado speeds. Jinkies! Finally, the Delete tool is a big hammer which explodes debris and destroys parts permanently. Super Noob Mode causes the amount of parts to be destroyed to fly through the roof. NoobNado is unarguably one of the best game modes. However, it barely gives you time to relax. A-tier game mode. A very fun game mode and a worthy addition to TAU. Before we talk about the next game mode, I'd like to mention a feature in Tornado Alley Ultimate called the Eeries. The Eeries are a group of special game modes that have a low rarity of occurring at any time, or have a specific requirement to allow them to occur. We will be talking about every Eerie from now on. After that, we're done here. Sorry for keeping you so long. I'm not sorry. So let's get started on this list of Eeries with... Your Doom is literally just unstoppable on crack. It's much bigger, more emo, and has a better theme. What's bad to say about Your Doom? Nothing, really. It rewards a high amount for its difficulty, which is good. However, it does one-shot like Unstoppable, which is kinda sad, considering it had a lot of potential. Your Doom kinda just roams around the map and eats things. At the end of basically every Your Doom round, there's going to be nothing left. Not even players. Your Doom seems to be faster than your average Tornado too. Additionally, when the round starts, the map turns darker before Your Doom appears. I dislike Your Doom for all the same reasons as I do for Unstoppable, but Your Doom gets the benefit of being an Eerie, meaning it's instantly cool. Additionally, the music is insane. Like, seriously, take a listen to Our Destruction on YouTube. Yeah, I'm biased, shut up. A-tier game mode. I hope I get Retro Your Doom next time, though.
Ho, ho, ho! Croissant!
Krampus is Freeze-Nado on crack. Wow, I sense a theme here. Krampus is an EF5 tornado which uses buffed winter weather abilities to kill players. It also utilizes some custom abilities. Here, I'll list them all out. Ice Spikes are the same as Freeze-Nado, except they're red. Avalanche is the same as Freeze-Nado, except they're also red. Krampus does not use Cold Burst. Blizzard is much more violent than in Freeze-Nado, blocking more of the screen for a long period of time. That's a bro moment. Now for the custom abilities that Krampus has. Krampus can summon a train, which comes at one of the sides of the map with various carts attached. The train hurts players as it zooms through the map. Krampus can summon Santa's sleigh, which flies above the map and explodes stuff from above. Some might want to call it in. Finally, Krampus can summon a present meteor from the sky, which comes down and explodes. It acts like a normal meteor. Now, with all these cool abilities, surely this game mode is an A tier or something. At least better than Freeze-Nado, right? I don't like Krampus all too much. Let me just speedrun why I dislike it. EF5 causes insta-kills, not fun. Avalanche exists. Santa's sleigh is not an AC-130. Blizzard is too intense and flashes for way too long. However, the music does slap hard. My final verdict for Krampus is that it is a B tier game mode. It's just aight. Sure. Moving on. Hey, just as a heads up, I felt quite sick while recording the next segment. So the next game mode that I'm going to be talking about, I will sound a bit nasally. I hope that isn't a detriment. Let's move on. Thank you.
Funniest thing I've seen in ages.
Twisty! Yay! Great! Awesome! Amazing! I don't really like Twisty. I'm gonna say it. Twisty is kinda mid. You might just be angry at me because Twisty can kill you in so many different ways, but there is a lot that gets me really angry when Twisty shows up. My main reaction whenever I hear the goofy clown music playing in the game is just... Let's talk about what Twisty does, okay? Okay. Twisty doesn't care. Twisty will explode you if he feels like it. Twisty will launch you into the air and explode you if he feels like it. He'll rain down 20 meteors in the span of 10 seconds if he feels like it. He'll cue gamers like your Doom, Taijitu, and Doomsday if he feels like it. That's the point of Twisty. He just doesn't care. He doesn't care if you don't like him. If he doesn't like your outfit, he may just change your character's avatar into someone else. And if he feels like it, before he leaves, he may just cue himself to return. Now, while Twisty is really rare, and is one of the Eeries, it doesn't excuse him from the fact that it is unfair, but I kinda like it that way. He's a silly tornado that does silly stuff and it's hilarious. But I don't like it. What I want is a fun experience which can be hectic at times, but has some calm moments before utter chaos. However, my bad thoughts about Twisty doesn't make it a low-ranking game mode. In fact, quite the opposite. A tier. I like Twisty in all the ways I really shouldn't. It's time to talk about the most amazing game mode in TAU. Chad! There is no arguing. I don't care. And as much as it hurts me to say it, this is a better game mode than the likes of both Retro-Nado and Hoshinado. I can't talk about what occurs in the Chad game mode just yet. I have to mention the Eerie theme for two reasons. One, it absolutely slaps. It has no reason to go that hard, and whenever I hear it, I feel like just putting my headphones on full blast and turning off all the game SFX just to vibe for a while. I don't even seek out loot while this is playing, because I know I'm going to have a grand old time later on. Now here's the second reason. Twilight will kill me. Anyways, let's talk about Chad. Chad is an EF3 tornado that can only be encountered by collecting the mysterious sunglasses that I've been blabbering on about for the entire video. Chad's whole vibe is being awesome, being super chill, being kind, and being the exact opposite of Twisty. Chad has many abilities it can use throughout the 120 seconds it has on the map. Here they all are. Chad can roll a dice. Whatever number it lands on, it will cue that number of game modes. It has a varied list of game modes. Chad can drop a Blood Moon fragment on the map. Chad can force either a merge threat or a dual threat to occur in the next tornado round. I will not go into detail about merge and dual threat, because that's not the purpose of this video. Chad can complement players. He is just awesome. Chad can only use the first three abilities once. After these abilities have been used up, Chad will only complement players, which is still cool. Along with the music that plays in this game mode, Chad just gives out positive vibes. Although rare, it is extremely fun and almost rewarding to finally experience Chad after waiting for so long, either for the sunglasses to spawn, or for Chad to appear itself. As I said before, it's a better game mode than Retro-Nado and Hoshinado, no doubt about it. S+! Yeah! Get ready for one of the longest sections in this video. I'm just warning you, okay? Doomsday is the rarest game mode in Tornado Alley Ultimate at a starting rate of 0.14%. And I've had it as my 5th round once.
Bruh.
It is one of the Eeries and also replaces the loot items. You can only find fear signs in Doomsday, nothing else. Insert rant about blood moon fragments and mysterious sunglasses not being able to show up in this game mode right here. Doomsday features 4 natural or unnatural disasters, in any order. It's completely random. Fate is decided by the Wheel of Chance. Each disaster is consecutive. They follow one another with barely a break in between. Say for example, you've just survived meteors. The entire map is flattened. Tsunamis right after. Also, some bonus disasters are buffed for Doomsday only. Here they all are. The Meteors disaster has many more meteors than usual. Tsunami is always a super tsunami with 325 studs. Volcano is always a super volcano and is always Mount Yellowstone. Alien invasion behavior is always vengeful and is named the Anzai. Flash flood height is always maximum and is never changed due to the map's condition. Same for lava flood. Hurricane will always start at category 6 and it's always named Hurricane Endgame. However, there are some disasters that cannot show up in Doomsday. Atomic bomb cannot show up in Doomsday because the underground shelter used to escape the nuke is completely locked off during Doomsday, and you can't even get shelter keys in Doomsday except for pay to win. Avalanche cannot show up in Doomsday, possibly because it conflicts with the Avalanche sub-disaster, but also it is quite similar to Volcano, which already exists in Doomsday. Pollution cannot show up in Doomsday because it guarantees deaths. This would be so unfair for players as they want that high AF coin reward. Additionally, it'd be annoying for going to the crate with all the sub-disasters involved. Finally, zombie invasion cannot show up in Doomsday because the zombies can get killed by the sub-disasters. As much as we all like a free win, this game has got to be fair, you know? With 4 main powerful disasters, surely this is already hard, right? Yeah, but this isn't hard enough, Billy said when making Doomsday, so he made sub-disasters. Do you remember the winter weather disasters we talked about in Freeze-Nado? They're back, except for cold burst. Ice spikes, avalanches, and blizzards can randomly occur during Doomsday. Alright, we have 3 extra disasters that can occur during Doomsday. What about adding more? You remember the time rifts in Riftnado? They're also back. They just randomly pop in and spawn a rifted object to cause that little bit more havoc. What's more? Bombs away missiles, of course! Kill me. Additionally, lightning is intensified to the strength level of that in the Zeus and Your Doom game modes. You know, we just needed a little bit more hell, didn't we? Next, the music in Doomsday. There are 2 main soundtracks, excluding the Eerie theme. Doomsday utilizes these 2 soundtracks for the first, second disasters, and the third and fourth disasters. The first track is being played now. It kinda resembles sadness to me, like we watch our beautiful world finally coming to an end. I mean, we knew it was all coming, right? This soundtrack will start playing after the forecaster stopped yapping. It plays just before the first disaster is revealed to us. The second soundtrack is playing now. This is when the realization hits in for any remaining survivors. Your friends are more than likely dead due to the havoc of Doomsday, the end of the world. There is no end in sight for the end. The second soundtrack will start playing after the second disaster ends. It will stop after the fourth disaster ends. It is distorted and a chorus effect is applied in TAU. I don't get why my ears just hurt. Now, the next part will not count towards my final verdict. Billy hears you saying, Doomsday's too easy, the sub-disasters aren't common enough, the entire things get boring until then you get to phase 2. Enter Super Doomsday. Sub-disasters are triple, that's basically it. But it means you get no breaks. The main disasters don't become your biggest threat, these sub-disasters do. They appear so frequently that you can't even keep up with what's happening on your screen. It's hilarious, I know. Doomsday overall is an A tier game mode. What? Not an S tier? I know, right? It's stressing and genuinely hurts my ears when phase 2 starts. Also, the disaster music overlaps with the main themes of Doomsday. I just don't see Doomsday being an S if the distorted effect isn't removed from the phase 2 theme. And also if they fix the theme overlap bug. And also if they made frags and sunglasses spawn, but it's fine, I guess. It's still a great game mode, no lie about that. Taijitu is one of the two most lore-heavy game modes in TAU. It's also tied for being the second rarest naturally occurring game mode, on par with Twisty The Clown. Taijitu only has two loot items, a Team Yin sign and a Team Yang sign. This makes no sense to me. I get that they fight in Chapter 5, but why teams? Anyways, Taijitu features two paths, the Ascension of Darkness and the Dawn of Light. Both paths feature either Yin or Yang growing too powerful respectively and causing utter chaos to the world. When the game mode starts, you are greeted with a narrator describing how one of the two entities, Yin or Yang, will cause chaos to the world. Additionally, the weather forecast you normally see in normal games goes with it. We will start by talking about the Yin path. The Yin path, the Ascension of Darkness, starts off with darkness covering the world, and then later starts its disaster spree with a shadow wave, basically a faster tsunami. It acts like a normal tsunami, insta-killing players who are caught in the shadow wave and causing damage to the map. Additionally, throughout the entire path, lightning strikes rapidly. Once the shadow wave has passed, between 2 and 8 smaller shadow waves will attack too. They are just smaller in height, meaning they are easier to get high ground on. The second disaster in the Ascension of Darkness is a strong Category 5 hurricane known as Hurricane Yin. It is just like a normal hurricane, except it lasts much longer and always starts at Category 5. Also, the debris it throws into the map are neon white. After the second disaster in both paths of Taijitu, the gameplay is the same, so I will talk about the third disaster now, then move on to the Yang path, and then talk about the fourth and fifth disasters. The third disaster in both paths is a regular EF0 to EF5 tornado that lasts for 50 seconds. It is just like a round of normal survival but shorter. Nothing else to say here. Now, we will talk about the Yang path. Oh god, the Yang path. The Yang path, the Dawn of Light, starts with light covering the world. Later, it starts its disaster spree with a supervolcano, a much more powerful volcano known as Mount Yang. Its debris is neon and coloured randomly, and the volcano lasts for a longer time than a normal volcano. This will kill lots of players. The second disaster in the Yang path is a mixture of three things: an Inferno pit which summons in the middle of the map and kills players who touch it, an Infernado which lasts for 100 seconds, and meteors that go alongside the Infernado. Additionally, after 75 seconds have passed in the Infernado's duration, the tornado will grow to a massive size, dealing more damage and pulling more objects around it. Chapter 4, The Warrior's Prayer, is a peace moment. The enraged entity has calmed down and players are given time to relax before Chapter 5, The Divine Battle. Chapter 4 is a lore-heavy segment of Taijitu. I will not be going into specifics about the Tornado Alley Ultimate lore, since that's not what this video's purpose is. Just know, it has the most banger music and, Tartarus. Ooh, scary. I did scare you. Oh, that was fucking hilarious, man. Here we are, Chapter 5, The Divine Battle. This is the hardest part of Taijitu. At this moment, both Yin and Yang appear in their tornado forms and attack each other, acting like normal tornadoes, except they move opposite to each other. Additionally, they both use abilities. Yin and Yang can transfer power, making one tornado an EF5 and the other an EF3. The brightness of the world will display who has the upper hand in power. Both the tornadoes will summon dragons that alter the brightness depending on which tornado has more power. This looks and sounds really cool. Also, Yin and Yang can both summon neon spikes out of the ground. They act like the ice spikes from Freeze-Nado. After 120 seconds have passed, both tornadoes will dissipate into the clouds again. Depending on which tornado is an EF5, the community likes to say, so-and-so won the battle. Example, Yin won or Yang won. If you're really that curious, I support Yin over Yang. Screw you, Yang supporters. I don't like you. After this, the game mode is over. Wow, what a ride. I'm giving Taijitu an A tier. It's really fun and holds the most lore out of any game mode. However, it cannot get an S tier as it is really repetitive and quite boring when you've encountered both paths many times before, like many players have done.
Who started racism? Yo, facts, I always want to know who started racism, man.
Tartarus is the hardest game mode of Tornado Alley Ultimate. I will keep this game mode explanation brief since the game mode is long. Very long. In order to even encounter Tartarus, you must collect 5 Blood Moon fragments which can randomly spawn as loot. The Tartarus one makes no sense, they aren't disguised as loot, they're literally out in the open, you can't miss them. This makes Tartarus one of 2 game modes to not be naturally encountered all the time, the other game mode being Chad. This is also the most unique game mode. Even before the map voting, you can tell when Tartarus appears. The blue transition circle that you normally see will now get a blood moon emblem on it to indicate that Tartarus is here. Additionally, the map voting music has changed. I am playing the music that plays in the map voting right now. It is important to know that Tartarus only has 3 loot items to be collected during the game mode. These are an authentic idol. This idol will make the game mode easier for you when collected. You will not be questioned or mind controlled by the a cursed idol. This idol will make the game mode harder for you when collected. The questions you are faced will be jumbled up, making it pretty much a 50-50 chance to get it right or wrong. And an ancient text. This block will make the game mode either easy or harder based on our good friend RNG. There are 3 blessings and 2 curses. The blessings are 2 times health, 2 times speed, and 2 times jumping power. Meanwhile, the curses are 1/2 of the health and unnatural growth, which makes you bigger. When the game mode begins, you are greeted by Tartarus himself, who does some funny evil guy monologue before he starts attacking himself. Phase 1 is the first part of Tartarus. You are faced against 3 different disasters, all of which are super buffed like in Doomsday. The same bonus disasters cannot appear in Tartarus, just like Doomsday, except for Avalanche. That is my first major nitpick with Tartarus. Avalanche can appear in Tartarus, but it cannot appear in Doomsday at all. Well, it's not like I can change anything now, so whatever. Something to mention is that during the entire game mode, Tartarus questions your loyalty to him. You must answer yes or no questions that side with Tartarus. If you get it wrong, you'll be punished with something that will cause your run to be harder. The questions are normal, aside from when you are holding a cursed idol. When you're holding a cursed idol, the questions go something like, Yui Meloni Aritoe question mark Oe Obsmundo. What? Phase 1 is rather simple, pretty much the same as Doomsday, aside from the loyalty questioning. Now let's move on to the dreaded Phase 2. This is much worse than Phase 1, it is so much harder. To begin with, Tartarus introduces to us Blood Rain. This lasts for the rest of the game mode and hinders your vision ever so slightly. The graphic on the screen is more annoying than the actual fog, jeez. Next, Tartarus starts sending in sub-disasters. No! Avalanche Trauma, no! Alongside the sub-disasters, Tartarus starts sending in Dead Hands. These guys chase players at random, and if they touch their target, they take 40 damage. However, once they hit their target, the Dead Hands do disappear. Phase 2 only has a few disasters it can choose from, but they are all very deadly. The list is Alien Invasion, Black Hole, Volcano, Hurricane, and Special Tornadoes. We will start by talking about the Special Tornado. This disaster can cause one of many different tornadoes to appear. They are all very deadly, aside from Infernado. I don't even know why Infernado spawns, but whatever. The following tornadoes can appear in the Special Tornado disaster: Your Doom, Unstoppable, Infernado, MegaTornado, and Glitchnado. They all act like how they do in their actual game modes. Additionally, the other disasters have special traits to their name. Aside from Black Hole, because no one likes Black Hole. Alien Invasion is always named the Xylanari and have a behavior of serving. This is a weaker version of the vengeful behavior. Volcano is always named Mount Diabolus and is a super volcano. Finally, Hurricane is always named Hurricane Abaddon and starts off at category 6. Just before we move on to phase 3, we have to take a trip uphill. Tartarus decides, you know what, I'm sick of this crap, and he flips the map 80 degrees to try and get you to fall off into the void. Despite the fact that the terrain does not flip, this is still really cool, and it makes the game mode much more unique. That being said, the maps with terrain are much easier to complete on Tartarus, not just for the map tilt, but also because of how terrain works anyways. After the map tilt, Tartarus puts the map back to normal and we hit 3 AM, phase 3. Phase 3 is where you'll encounter 3 random ancient disasters out of 4 possible ones. I'm not going to go into the lore behind the ancient disasters, and I will keep each disaster very brief, so here we go! The Weeping Angel is a big long game of red light green light with a massive angel. When his eyes are opened, you're not allowed to move or you will be struck like lightning for 50 damage. This goes on for about 5 minutes. The Hypercane is a super strong hurricane which uses multiple attacks, the main debris throwing, using energy walls, and causing random explosions on the map. It gets stronger as you go through, so be careful. is a massive tornado which has EF3 strength. It also has the ability to mind control players to walk towards the tornado for a short period of time. Having an authentic idol prevents you from being mind controlled. Finally, the solar flares are buff meteors, moving much faster and appearing in waves. They send the solar flares in groups and there are multiple waves. There are also multiple different types of solar flares, each dealing different amounts of damage. Phew, that's all the ancient disasters. Now let's move on to phase 4. 6 AM, phase 4. This is it now. This determines the world's fate. By this point, there must be at least one survivor alive who hasn't died before in the game mode yet. Otherwise, it's automatically a game over. 4 pillars will rise at the corners of the map, each representing different elements: fire, water, earth, and energy. Depending on how many players are left alive, you will get a specific amount of time to disable all 4 pillars to destroy Tartarus. In a random order, these pillars will become vulnerable. You can climb to the top of these pillars and disable them by holding onto a prompt button for a medium duration. They will explode, launching players and causing an effect on the map. Each pillar does something different. Let's go through them real quick. Upon disabling the fire pillar, many meteors will rain down on the map. You should try and stay at the top of these pillars while this is happening. Upon disabling the water pillar, the blood rain that Tartarus sent in at phase 2 will be disabled. Upon disabling the earth pillar, many Moab missiles will be sent down on the map. Again, try to stay at the top of the pillars. Upon disabling the energy pillar, 10 dead hands will chase every remaining player to kill them. When you have disabled all 4 pillars, Tartarus is destroyed, and the game mode is over with the good ending. Yin and Yang restore balance to the blah 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 shut up. If you fail to disable all the pillars in time, Tartarus comes down to claim Earth as his kingdom, and the game mode ends with the bad ending. You already know it! S+ game mode. Tartarus cannot be better than this. And that's it. That's every game mode in Tornado the Ultimate. Done and ranked. Well, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. What? Hang on, what's this? Oh no! Six-Nado is just Penta-Nado with one more tornado. There's not much to say except it's just fine. I guess it is worth mentioning that it is really chaotic if you do get a system overload on Six-Nado. CB. B tier. It's fun, I guess. Yin N Yang is just Taijitu's final chapter in one game mode. There's nothing different about it aside from the intro section, which tells the tale if you haven't kept up with the lore. B tier, I guess. I don't have anything else to say. Chickennado is terrible. S+. Finally, the best private server game mode, Glitchnado. This game mode is really fun. Glitchnado is an EF3 tornado which can teleport around the map, glitching stuff and being glitchy. It glitches players towards it and can glitch the system to glitch itself and become invisible sometimes. This glitch in the system makes the glitchy Glitchnado a glitchy gamer with the glitchy A tier. I think I had a stroke reading that. Oof. Well, that ends this very long video of mine. I did not expect the video to take this long. Thank you so much for watching. If you watched the whole way through, then salutations, my friend. I definitely did not have fun recording all that gameplay. I have nothing else to say. See you in the next video.